a London-based campaign for human rights in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He now joins us live via Skype from London. A very good evening to you, Mr. Vava. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's first talk about Mr. Bemba. Does he face threats of prosecution the minute he touches down on the DRC soil? Remember that in 2007, the authorities issued a warrant for his arrest over violence perpetrated in that area.
Well, I do not think Kabila is in a position to pursue Mr. Bemba legally once he returns to Congo, essentially because he doesn't longer has any legitimacy to put forward any charges essentially against Mr. Bemba. So, and crucially as well, I feel that Mr. Kabila is trying to reach out to Mr. Bemba in an attempt to create some sort of alliance, some sort of coalition, in the hope that if and should Mr. Bemba becomes president after him, that Mr. Bemba might be lenient to him, because without Mr. Bemba, the only other candidate that has a better chance of winning is Felix Tshisekedi. And Felix Tshisekedi, whose father died in February of 2017, and whose body Mr. Kabila refused to be buried at home, is incredibly angry. And Mr. Kabila and his puppet or his regime are incredibly frightened that should Felix Tshisekedi, the son of Agent Tshisekedi, become president, he might be harsher on them than Mr. Bemba would be.
And in the mix of all of this, the DRC is gearing for year-end presidential elections, and one still hears of some worrying human rights abuses. Just how serious is this problem?
It's incredibly serious. As we speak in Kasai is this province right in the middle of Congo. It's also right in the middle of Africa. As we speak in Kasai, Mr. Kabila's militia gangs, known as the Banamura, are committing atrocities, war crimes against humanity. There are even arguments to say that they are responsible for genocide or at least ethnic cleansing. So Mr. Kabila is attempting to cling to power by essentially attacking and killing anyone. These include individuals as well as groups. Even religious, even priests have fallen victim of Mr. Kabila. He doesn't want to leave power. That is quite clear. He refuses to essentially say in the hope of sort of calming the situation and calming the nation, saying publicly that Kabila, would not seek a third mandate, as the constitution bars me from seeking a third mandate. And we also know clearly that his political opponent, people from PPRD, his political party, have been saying quite publicly that they are only candidate, the one person they are going to present forward as a candidate for the December election is Mr. Kabila. And if he tries to do so, then the entire country is going to explode into violence.
And perhaps the biggest problem is that Joseph Kabila himself still hasn't declared whether he will be partaking in the elections or not, despite international pressure for him to come up publicly and clearly to do so. And a recent investigation has revealed some serious atrocities committed by both the rebels and, of course, the government troops in the DRC. In the DRC region, in the Kasai region, of course, what's the main source of the conflict there, and how true are these allegations?
Well, these allegations are incredibly credible. But remember, Kasai is the heartland of opposition. Kasai is the homeland of Agent Tshisekedi, this legendary Congolese opposition leader. He is from Kasai, so Kasai has always opposed the regime in Kinshasa, has always opposed Mr. Kabila. And what happened essentially in Kasai is that region chief traditional leaders said that Mr. Kabila's government is illegitimate. They do not want to organize an election. As a result, those traditional chiefs refuse to recognize Mr. Kabila's legitimacy or control over their land. And because of that, Mr. Kabila sent his army, his militia gangs, the Banamura, and they went and they began attacking village by village, killing thousands of people and displacing, in a nutshell, over 1.5 million people. As we speak, as you and I have this conversation, in Kasai, around 400,000 children, 1/3 of children in Kasai are at risk of death by starvation. And that essentially goes to show just how big and how widespread these crises. And your viewers would remember that Kasai has never been in a crisis before. We have never had a starvation or a famine situation in Kasai. And this goes to the heart of the matter. This is why people like me are saying loud and clear that what Congo needs at this point is a civilian transition without Mr. Kabila, organized, led by someone like Denis Mukwege, so that we can organize free, fair, and transparent elections. Without those elections, without the election being free, fair, and transparent, the entire country, I'm incredibly afraid, would explode into violence.
And it's interesting you touched on the issue of transition, which looks rather far-fetched at this particular point in time. I mean, on the one hand, we have a president who refuses to relinquish power. And then on the other hand, we have a highly fragmented opposition, which is failing to challenge the government. I mean, we have like 400 political parties there, which are highly divided and highly fragmented, and they don't have the guts to challenge the status quo. No end in sight there, is there?
I would dispute that argument. Yes, we have over 400 political parties, and some of those political parties are puppet political parties, essentially to distract the situation. But we have some incredibly serious opposition figures and some incredibly serious political parties in opposition. And remember, the Congolese civil society has been incredibly powerful. In fact, we have been leading this fight against Mr. Kabila. If it wasn't for us, the civil society group, none of this would have happened. But look, where we stand at this point, this is not just a test for Congo. This is, in fact, a test for SADC. SADC needs to take actions in the same way in which ECOWAS in West Africa took action against Yahya Jammeh when he tried to cling to power in Gambia after losing elections. The same way, I believe, and this is my opinion, that SADC should take similar actions against Mr. Kabila in order to return Congo to constitutional order. A stable and functioning Congo is better not only for the Congolese, but for the entire SADC, for the entire region, for the entire African continent. So we are hoping and we are looking at the current, President Cyril Ramaphosa in South Africa. We are looking at President Lorenzo in Angola. We are looking to President Masisi in Botswana and others in the SADC, essentially to rise up and say to Mr. Kabila, no, you cannot continue to kill your people for essentially calling for free and fair and transparent elections, that you have to step aside, allow the Congolese people to pursue their democratic right, to pursue their democratic journey, so that Congo can become functioning and stable and allow Africa to move forward and to become successful.
And it's worrisome that the leaders of the countries that we've just mentioned, 2 years on, they still haven't been able to take a firm stance with regards to the situation in the DRC. But then, Vava Tampa, thank you so much for your time. That's human rights activist Vava Tampa, who's Congolese. He's the founder of the Save the Congo, a London-based campaign for human rights in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He joins us via Skype from London.